Hi guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie and today is the start of the organization that is going to happen in 2022. I'm assuming you are joining me today because you are also looking to start and are looking for encouragement, and I'm just going to tell you that we are going to start small today. I really should clean up my space. It's a bit of a hazard zone, but I just did not have time with the holidays and other activities that were going on. I just didn't have the time to get in here and work and record. So I have about, I don't know, how long is this? Like not quite 2 feet of space on my desk to work with. The rest is covered with various paraphernalia leftovers from all my other crafting projects. The garbage is overflowing. The stuff needs to be put away, but we will deal with that another week. And instead what we're going to do is we are going to do our first purging project of the year. I'm going to keep it pretty small, and I have an idea with what I'm going to do with the items that I am removing from my pattern cardstock bin. So this is my pink bin, and as you can see, sorry for the jiggling, it's full, right? It's already extended into another bin, but I have no more bins to expand into, so I do need to remove some items from here. And so I'm just going to pull these out, and we're going to do a quick purge, and it'll be interesting to see how much ends up getting decluttered versus repurposed or sorted elsewhere. I tend to redistribute things rather than purging, so we'll see how I do today. Okay, I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly. Again, I don't have a ton of time, especially if I want to get to doing the second part of this video. So we will just flip through this. Now this is actually a brick pattern, and I do have a brick section, so I think I'm going to put that there. I use those more for backgrounds than anything else. This is from a recent paper pad breakdown, and I honestly do not need 3. I'm going to keep 2, and I'm going to move 1 out, and we'll figure out what to do with those later. I'm not in love with this one. I'm going to move that out. I do like this one, and I have 3 of these, so we're going to move 1 out. So we'll see how we do. I like the plaid, I like the scallops, coral is nice, I love a polka dot. This one has a mark on it. I'm going to move that one out. Hearts are always good. The geometric background. And this side is a very heavily foiled side. I'm going to move both of these out too. Now I'm just doing a really quick sort, and then we'll figure out what to do with the remaining pieces. My hardest part with this is that I love everything. Like even those ones that I'm moving out, it's not that I don't like them, I like them a little less than some of the other options out there. Now, I really like this one and this paper together. Maybe we'll make a kit as we go along. We'll pull that out for a kit. I've also decided that these heavily foiled ones aren't doing me any good in my 12 by 12 formats, and so I think what I am going to do is cut these down. So I'm going to pull both of these out as well and move them in the, deal with later pile. Just too much foil. But you guys have heard me say that for a while now, so shouldn't be surprising. 2 of those sheets. Let's move them together in case I need both. This is an older sheet of paper from Kaiser Craft. I wonder how old it is. I don't see a date on it, but I still like it, so we will hold on to it. Stuff like this where there's a little bit of foil, I'm okay with leaving in here. It's that really heavily, densely foiled stuff that I need to move it along. Okay, got lots of this. 1, 2, 3 sheets. So keep 2, get rid of 1. That's going to be my motto, I think. Some of this paper is so thick compared to others. It's so interesting. So I just finished saying keep 2, get rid of 1, but I do like the dots. And it's interesting because it looks like they came from different paper pads. Huh. I am going to keep these. Just because I'm allowed to break my rules every now and then. Yeah, not caring for that one. Not caring for this one. Has some cut aparts on the other side. Heavily foiled, heavily foiled. Some old SEI paper. That's pretty. Oh, I really love this paper too. Yeah, it's from Simple Stories Beautiful. That's from 2017. Heavily foiled. There's a piece of vellum in here. I think I'm going to move this to where I keep my vellum. This is an old sheet too. This is Upsadaisy Designs. Does it have a year on here? No, but I would say this has got a date. Pre-2010. A lot of these are from paper pads after I finished breaking them apart. Whatever I had left over I just threw in here, and obviously you know, over time it accumulates, especially the pink. And while I don't mind pink, I just have too much. This is I had kind of sorted these into like different categories. So I'm in the kind of geometric section now. I had stripes before. And then I think I end up with just random shapes and stuff. Now this one, I don't mind this one as a foil. I don't know why. So I'm just going to leave it in here. Again, no rules. You make up your own rules for your stash. I don't know, have you guys purged your paper recently? What kind of criteria do you have for selecting what stays and what goes? This one kind of reads more purple, so I'm going to move this to the purple section. That's another thing. When I sort these originally, I just go with whatever I'm feeling or seeing at the time. And if I come across it at a later date and change my mind, then that's what I will do. Same with this one. I'm going to move this to purple. There's no rules. The biggest one, I guess, I would encourage you to have is to just use your stash. And that's what I'm hoping to do here. Okay, I have a ton of this Paige Evans stuff. I think I had the paper pad and I had the entire collection. I'm going to move those out. It's a little too busy. And to be honest, it wasn't one of my favorite collections. And these are the ones from the paper pads, not from the collection. It's a different weight. So I don't mind giving those up. I'll move that to red, I think. I'm seeing more red now than pink. And I don't know, this is debatable whether this is pink or if this is like a brown. I might move this to neutrals. This is all from the same paper pad. Move that to neutrals. And maybe I'll create a problem, you know, in another section, but that's okay. It's just fun to look through stuff and play, right? I actually look at this more as a refamiliarization of my stash than I necessarily think of it as a chore. It's nice for me to see what's going on, to remember what I have, and I don't know, that looks like an orange if you ask me, or brown. Yeah, so anyways, I was saying it's nice for me to just familiarize myself with what's in here and get rid of those. Because when you get so much stuff, you forget. Look at how foiled that is. Whoo-wee, baby. We're get rid of that one. And do I have a rhyme or reason? I'm just going with my gut. What I'm interested in keeping and not interested, and kind of what I feel like I will use and won't use, I guess, is really the criteria. Okay, so I got quite a bit pulled, I think. Hopefully it'll be enough to get this back in that box. Let's see what we did. The moment of truth. Now these boxes here are, they're from the Container Store, and they're really fantastic. The only complaint I have with them is they have a slight taper to them. And they've got little notches on the inside that your paper can get hung up on. But you guys, it fits. I don't have any pieces sticking out. Okay, so let me put this back on the shelf and we'll talk about the ones that I pulled. Okay, so this is going in with my brick section, purple, neutrals, and red. I actually pulled out my green section and found a cardstock that I thought would complete this page kit. So now it's got the small floral, the diagonal stripe, and the geometric print in pink. That will go in with my page kits. And the good news is all the other colors are not overflowing at this point. Obviously I have other stuff that's got to go away, get put away, so that could change, but right now it's feeling like it's under control. When I was flipping through the green section, I found a few more of these papers by page, so I pulled them all. So what I'm going to do now is separate these out, and basically most of these I'm going to turn into envelopes. That's right, I'm going to make some funky colored envelopes. I need some slimline ones, and I thought this would be a fun way to use these up and not having to find someone to donate them to. So yeah, I am just going to make envelopes out of these, mostly slimline, I think. All of these foiled ones I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So again, I'm just going to do another quick sort, which I could have done initially if I had had more room on my desk, but I just didn't. So, you know, sometimes it means that you're going to have to go through things twice in order to make it work. Okay, foiled, move that out, move these over. Okay, so to make the envelopes, I'm going to use my envelope punch board. This was from Stampin' Up! I don't know if they sell this anymore, but it was manufactured by We Are Memory Keepers, which I'm pretty sure still has theirs. Of course, there's nothing that says you can't just cut a square and figure out the score lines yourself. It is a handy little tool. So I just mentioned that I want to make slimline cards. Most of the slimline cards I make are about 8.5 by 3.5, and I have been known to make them smaller. I don't think I've made them anything longer than 8.5. So I think what I want to do is just make this at 4 by 8.5. And I think that just will give me a little bit of wiggle room if I need it. I hate having a super tight envelope. In order to achieve that, I need a 9 by 7/8 square. So let me go and trim these down first. Okay, now have my papers all trimmed down, and then I have these as scraps. This is where it gets tricky because I start thinking, oh, you know, I could make something out of it. Yeah, I could. Am I going to? Probably not. But if you wanted to make coordinating cards to go with the envelopes, you would trim this out and then use these to make cards. Absolutely. I am just going to recycle these. So these will be going in the recycle bin just because I need to move on. Okay, one other thing I wanted to make note of, some of these cardstocks are double-sided, but a lot of them are from paper pads that were single-sided like this. So there's nothing that says you have to have the pattern on the outside. So you know how you can get lined envelopes? I think that would look really cool for these, where you have the white on the outside and then the pattern on the inside. So I think what I'm going to do with those is I'm just going to do one with the pattern out, one with the pattern in, just to show you what they look like. If I do have the pattern on the outside, I worry that, you know, writing on here would not be legible enough. So I always use label stickers to write the addresses, the recipient's address, as well as my return label, just so you know how I handle that. Okay, now that we have our stack of papers cut out, I'm going to show you how the punch board works. Now, according to the menu down here at the bottom, a 4 by 8.5, which was a 9 7/8 square, you want to start scoring at 3 3/8. Now I tried this and it doesn't end up being an 8.5 long envelope, which is exactly what I'm going for. And because I picked the 4, I do have some wiggle room to play with the adjustments and still fit a 3.5 by 8.5 card in. So what I'm going to do instead of 3 3/8, I'm going to score it at 3 1/8. And what that means is you're going to take your cardstock, you're going to align it against this ledge here, and there are measurements that go across, and you're going to go to 3 1/8 and butt this edge up right like so. Okay, so 3 1/8, and you're going to punch. And you're going to score along this channel here. Now you're going to notice that the channel is not long enough for this piece of paper, and that's okay. I'll show you what I did. So I scored as far as I could go. You can see the score line there. And I'm just going to turn around and just fold this. Use my bone folder. And now I have it scored all the way around, okay? So this is notch was punched out by this, so this was in like that. And now we've got the score, and now we're just going to rotate it, align this edge, this little pokey out bit, with your scored line and the top here. You're going to punch again and score, rotate. The score line is really hard to see on this pattern. Punch, score as far as you can, and we're just going to fold that. You want to use your bone folder, you can go right ahead, and we've got one more score to do. So there's 4 scores in total. Okay, put that aside. Now what I would probably do is just score everything all in one shot and then come back and glue everything, but for the video I'm just going to walk you through from start to finish. If you want to round the corners, you can use the back side of the punch and align it in there and punch, and that will give you a rounded corner. Now with these dimensions, these flaps are too large. You're going to have to trim them slightly. So first things first, let's fold in the interior flaps. Okay, we're going to fold this up, and I'm just going to eyeball it. If you want to use a paper trimmer, go for it. I don't cut this straight. I know that, and I'm okay with it. I don't really care. It's an envelope that people are going to chuck out. So if that matters to you, then you should address it separately. Okay, and then this side's going to come down, and you're going to end up with the same thing. So you could, if you really wanted to, you could also fold it. If you think that's going to give you a better score, you could leave it folded, I guess. You know, apply some adhesive or something to it, but I'm just going to trim that off. It's still going to be crooked, you guys, because that's just the way it happens. See? It's still crooked. You could try a trimmer. I wasn't too successful with that, and to be honest, again, I'm just thinking it just doesn't matter. Nobody's going to look at it that closely. Okay, so once you've got the basic body done, we're going to then take some liquid adhesive. I'm going to put a bead slightly off the edge because I don't want any glue to splooge into the envelope and seal it shut prematurely. or so that we can't even get anything in there. This is pretty quick drying glue. It is the Barely Art Precision Craft glue, and it's pretty much done at that point. I would probably stack these and put something heavy on them just to be sure it is good and secure. You can slide in a slimline card. You'll see it will still fit, and actually fits better than if you use the measurements that they give. And then you would just add some adhesive and seal up the envelope, and you're good to go. This is what it looks like if you do it the opposite way. I think it is kind of fun to have the pattern on the outside, but definitely easier to read on the outside. And it's still kind of fun to see it on the inside. So whatever your choice, doesn't matter. But yeah, make that a measurement change. If you have the We Are Memory Keepers punch board, I think you should score at 3 1/8. And I will probably put a note or something on here just that measurement needs to be adjusted. So next time I do it, I will remember. Okay, let me go through the rest of these and finish them up. And I think we'll then come back and talk about those foiled cardstocks. Okay, so I have all of my envelopes done. Some I've done with the pattern on the outside as I indicated before, and some with the pattern on the inside. So these are just going to go where I keep my envelopes, and it's good to have a good stack of slimline, seeing as I've been doing a few more of those. I then took all the foiled papers, with the exception of these 2 stripe ones. I actually do really like the foiled on this. I would probably end up cutting these into strips anyways. So I'm going to keep these in the 12 by 12 sheets and just put them in with specialty foiled paper. All of the rest I trimmed down to 4 by 6. Obviously 4 by 6 is too long for a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, but I can trim them down to 5 1/4, so I end up with a 4 by 5 1/4 mat, which will work really well. But it also just gives me the options to use them on scrapbook layouts if I so desire, as a photo mat or something like that. So that is what these are. These are just going to go in with my pre-cut papers. I am going to be revisiting those at some point, so I will take you along with how I am storing those, hopefully in the not too distant future. I had one 12 by 12 sheet of paper that had a band of foiling along the bottom and along the top. I trimmed out those to 8 1/4 by 3 1/4 to make a slimline card, and I will probably make these right away. So it would just end up being a mat like this. And then all I really need to do is just add a sentiment, and I think this card would be finished. So I was able to cut 2 panels out for slimline, and then I did trim the remaining bits to 3 3/4 by 5. 3 3/4 by 5, which I think should fit, if I did my math correctly, on an A2 size card with a nice mat as well. So again, rather than stick these in my stash, I'll probably just attach them to card bases right away and put them in with my base card files. And then I still had a little bit of paper left over from the middle of this one, and I just trimmed those down to 4 by 5 1/2. So not quite the same size of the rest of these panels, but close enough. So that is it for my first purge. I don't know, can you even call it that, seeing as it's still in my stash, just in a different configuration? But I'm really pleased with that progress. Obviously I need to go through the rest of my colored pattern cardstock and do some more sorting on that. If you are interested in seeing more of this kind of, you know, show and tell walk as I get rid of things, let me know below. Otherwise I will end up just doing it offline and not bore you if you do find that kind of thing boring. I think that is it for today. So I hope that you are inspired to tackle something in your space. Let me know what it is below, what you're hoping to work on in the next little bit, and until next time, happy organizing.